When people look at the cards from the suit of swords, the keywords that tend to come to mind are intelligence, reasoning, logic, analysis, and other left brain characteristics. The cards can seem cold, harsh, sometimes even cruel and difficult to work with, but that doesn't always have to be the case. Swords, or blades as they're referred to in the Global Fusion Intuitive deck, when examined in isolation from everything else, or in other words, in their absolute, do represent these calculated qualities as an archetypal modality. But we have to remember that in the real world where people exist and operate, we interact with each other and the world around us in a more dynamic way. The qualities of the cards are attributes that we all have. Sometimes they show up to tell us to dial things back a little bit, especially if you have the tendency to work towards extremes in certain behaviors. In other times, certain cards might be prompting you to develop a new skill set or to work in areas in your life that you're weak at. Now, it's important to clarify, even though these four suits exist in the absolute, human beings don't exist within that realm. We might embody many of the traits associated with a suit. For example, you might know of a person who has a highly developed mind and is extremely intelligent, which would put him or her in alignment with the suit of blades. But this doesn't necessarily mean that this is all there is to a person. On the contrary, everyone has a little bit of everything in them, and whilst someone who has a blades or swords alignment might be exceptional when it comes to intellectual endeavors, it's rare to find people who have achieved evolutionary mastery in all of the suits combined. Meaning to say, a brainiac who has mastered the blade of communication through the element of air, who has mastered the vessel of their emotions and tempered their desires through the element of water, who has also mastered their creative fire and is able to direct it towards productive outcomes, and also their control and mastery of the material world, being in optimum health, having material wealth, influence, and the magnetic charisma that would be associated with the earthly suit of gems. Such a person would be considered truly exceptional and would no doubt be a widely recognized figure, unless they chose to operate with discretion. So the idea is, over time, one has to achieve mastery over the four elements, whether you believe that you can do it in one lifetime because that's all you have, or if you believe in reincarnation, then you would have a series of successive lifetimes to master these areas and perfect yourself, which would then also include knowledge, understanding, and mastery of the fifth element, the quintessence. But for now, let's focus on the suit of blades. Now let's look at some of the correspondence of the suit. In standard playing decks, blades are the suit of spades. This suit corresponds to the element of air, and the astrological signs that fall under this category are Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. In traditional depictions, swords are usually double-edged, which is fine because there are obvious parallels that go along with representing a sword as a double-edged sword. However, throughout the history of swords the world over, you will see that swords come in a variety of shapes and sizes. Some are single-edged, some are double-edged, while others, like the Chinese hook swords, have multiple edges. The differences in sword types are due to a myriad of factors, including what resources were available to create the swords, the duration of time and difficulty of skill level that it requires to forge the sword, the cultural context of the environment that the sword originated from, factors like how the swords were intended to be used. For example, were they intended to go up against armor, or make contact with other weapons such as pole arms, or were they designated for usage by a specific group or caste of people with a unique set of privileges? For example, the military, or the aristocracy, or even some religious sects. Keeping these considerations in mind, it's not difficult to see how illustrating the various sword types in the suit of blades is used to reflect the diversity that parallels the way in which the intellect has the potential to be wielded from person to person. Some sword types rely on a greater level of precision and technical ability to be wielded skillfully, while others are more suited to hacking and slashing. When the intellect is refined to a certain degree, then it too can be wielded with precision and in a deliberate manner. Thank you for watching this brief introductory video on the suit of blades from the Global Fusion Intuitive Tarot deck, published by US Games Systems. The deck will be released in October 2022, and you can pre-order it now through the link in the description. I'm Rodney, artist and creator of the deck. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.